So tell us a little bit about Samez North America. I know you all have been around for a while and offer a lot to the coating industry. Tell us a little bit about Samez, if you can.
Absolutely, yeah. Samez is an OEM solutions provider for the coatings industry. So we make, we like to say the stuff to pump and then dispense and then apply liquid, powder, high viscosity, all kinds of different types of materials to the GI industry, to automotive, to aerospace, to basically every kind of facet of the economy. Like you say, we started a long time ago in like the 20s in France, I believe, for our
Mhm.
original company, and then in the U.S. here, we started in the 70s, I believe.
Right, right. Today we're going to talk about the powder lab up in your headquarters in Plymouth, Michigan. That opened, I believe, earlier this year. Tell us a little bit about that and all that it has available to your customers.
Definitely, yeah. So we just finished it up actually in November of last year is when it officially opened,
Mm.
and we were able to install a quick color change powder booth along with a cyclone dust collector and everything that entails, as well as a full kind of conveyor and the pneumatic kind of controls to make everything work well together, as well as a full PLC style system to run everything together. Right, so we're
Mhm.
really excited because what it allows us to do is demonstrate our technologies directly to our customers, and in a way that we would actually install in their facilities, right? So as opposed to saying, Mr. Customer, it might work like this, we can say, hey, why don't you send over some of your parts, some of your people, some of your powder coating materials, and let us run through the process of coating these things. Let us show you how we might go about painting these things, and how we do it here at Samez. So the application lab gives us the option to kind of do that in a more realistic and more similar way to what they might actually experience in a production environment.
Right. Yeah, just like software, I hear you don't want to test in production, right? You don't want to do that. If in
So
any way you could get it nailed down before you start doing all the parts, but yeah, like I said, it's people that may not be familiar with a lot of your equipment, they can come up, kind of get a feel for it, and you all give them some best practice tips, I guess, to take back to their facility. Then, right?
for sure. And then we're also able to kind of show them the things that we have that maybe other people don't necessarily have. Like, for instance, our InoBell is a powder bell, right? So that's something that we're able to offer that nobody else really offers. And it's something that can really benefit a lot of customers with complex parts, with flat parts, folks that are trying to paint stuff with robots. We find we can really help out these people and getting them into the lab and getting them hands-on with something that maybe they haven't seen before, maybe something that they're not as familiar with, is a serious benefit to us, we feel, and the lab really
Right.
helps with that.
Right. What product line do you have? Just besides the guns, like you said, you have the what other type of product lines do you offer to customers?
So in powder coating, we have everything from the hoppers or the big bag dispensing solutions all the way to the end of the gun, right? So we make traditional powder coating guns that everybody has kind of seen before, and then we also make, like I was just mentioning, a powder bell as well. That is more for all automatic application. On the manual side, we of course have the vibrating tables, the hopper units, and then we also have some pressure tank type solutions for advanced powder coating type solutions. So for the aerospace industry, for the pipe coating industry, industries that either require really high flows or really low flows, we have setups for them as well.
Right, right. Yeah, I know one of the features of the lab. I know you guys have like a color change system that kind of unique. Talk about that a little bit of and how they can kind of utilize that and see all that it might do for them with that.
Yeah, so our Inno Center is our color change solution. So what it allows us to
Hmm.
do is get the different type of colors
Hmm.
into our Cyclone booth, and with the way that it works, we're able to quickly change in between, say a black to a red, a white to a green, whatever complicated solution a customer might propose to us. We're able to kind of do that in our Inno Center, and actually demonstrate for them with their powder how that might work. So in the Inno Center, we have the ability to spray with 24 different type of applicators, and all of it is able to run into a very controlled type application hopper, as opposed to coming out of a box, directly out of a box and going right to the guns or anything like that.
Right.
We can go, from a controlled type of environment, so that we're able to really dial in those parameters for the customer's needs.
Right. Is this just for new customers, or do you have like people that might hire a new employee and they really want to get them? Is that something that you also offer there to be able to do some instruction that way, or?
So we do definitely do training for our distributors in our facility. We do that stuff regularly. We actually had a class just last week for one of our distributors.
Hmm.
And then we also are part of the Powder Coating Institute, and through that we're able to offer different types of classes, through that group. So I believe that we'll have one of the Powder Coating 202 classes a little bit later this year in our facility, is what we're planning.
Right, right. How long does, just to give people an understanding, how long do people normally come up to the lab if they send some of their team members up? How long does that usually take for that the
It's really
program?
going to depend on the parts, Tim.
Hmm.
So usually, it's really going to be dependent on what the customer needs. So we'll have customers that will come in and they'll stay with us for 2 weeks. They'll actually be there through the weekend, and those folks we find are really they're trying to help us develop the process, if you will. Um,
Hmm.
they're the ones that are really there to kind of learn how we do what we do. Maybe they're a little bit more interested in the robotics or in automation or in color preparation in the case of liquid paint. Other customers will send us their parts and we will kind of get that process all dialed in, and then we'll have them in for just maybe a couple days, so that we can show them those parts getting painted, and then kind of get them and their parts back to their facility so they can get back into production and making money.
Right, right. It's funny. I do both the electroplating, anodizing, and liquid and powder. Uh, when it comes to powder coating, there are unique things, like I said, that people do need to know about application. I think some people think anybody can powder coat, which I'm sure they can, but can they do it correctly and really give their customer a really good product? But there are a lot of intricacies to powder coating, right? Understanding the whole concept of powder coating and the wraparound of all these type of things, and some people that, like you said, just maybe don't think they need proper training, and there is a lot to know about how to do it properly, I believe, right?
Absolutely. Like a lot of powder guys would tell you, the biggest thing is that it's nice and clean and that we have a good ground, right? That's the two
Mhm.
most important things for powder coating for sure. But absolutely, there's a lot more intricacies that you can get into, especially, excuse me, when you're getting into, complicated parts, parts that have
Mhm.
some complicated areas to spray, or maybe a complicated type of powder. So earlier I was mentioning, low flow type
Mhm.
applications that we have. So there is an NDT, non-destructive testing application that we do for
Mhm.
the aerospace and nuclear industry, called penetration testing. And with these, the required flows are just so much lower than a standard type powder coating application. If you were to spray these powders with a regular powder coating gun, it would just be all over the place and the process wouldn't even work, right?
Right.
So
Right.
we were able to develop a special kind of applicator to get out those types of coatings. And then, like I mentioned, also the other side of that, we have an applicator that can also do 2,500 grams per minute, which is just an outstandingly large amount of powder that nobody would ever
Wow.
need, right?
Right. I was going to say it's a tremendous amount. It's funny with the technology that you are developing. The Inobooth and the InoBell, those type of things. You've sort of tried to eliminate a lot of user error with this, a lot of automation to make it seamless, but still, like I said, it does take a skilled person to be able to really do this sometimes, which always means that for some of the shops should be looking for training whenever they could can find it for their teams to do that. But like I said, some of your equipment I think is kind of taken up for some of that, or covered over some of the human error, I would say sometimes, making it easier to coat with the right equipment that all kind of hooked up, make it seamless. that.
Definitely, and especially once we're able to get in there and set up the system for the customer, right? So like we spoke about earlier with the lab and kind of dialing in the parameters and stuff. We can really take out some of the growing pains is what I guess I would call them, with a new type system, where we could get the proper parameters in as the first parameters and then just start kind of tweaking those as opposed to starting right from square one, which helps everything kind of start up much faster.